Once you decide to build with a full tech team, there's many ways to get that technical support. The one you probably most often think of is an in-house CTO or a developer who you hire, you put on your payroll, you pay their benefits, you give them performance reviews, you set goals and meet goals and kind of create a whole team around it. This is a very expensive proposition. Often it is hard to know how to vet that team. It's hard to understand their true strengths and weaknesses. It's hard for them to work in isolation. It's hard to understand if they are performing at or above what you expected of them because you don't necessarily know what to expect of them. It costs a lot of money to find, retain, improve, and then continue to have them be a part of your team. But when they're amazing, they're really amazing, and they become a real cornerstone of building out your full team. The second thing is an overseas firm. So you could find a group of folks who are near shore, far shore, who have a lot of development experience, but don't necessarily have the full product experience. So oftentimes we find that there are scheduling concerns here. Sometimes they build the wrong thing at the wrong time because you don't necessarily have the technical chops to talk to them, and they don't necessarily have the business ideas to really bridge that gap with you. So often we find that those products are well built, well created, but not necessarily solving the right problem. There's also places like Upwork and places where you can find a stateside contractor who is looking to really churn on an idea. Again, they'll typically work down a feature list or work down a set of tasks. And your job is to make sure that those are the right tasks to build at the right time. And that's a hard problem to solve. But if you can solve that problem, then a contractor or an overseas firm are great options before you find a team. And then the last thing is an agency. So an agency typically has other roles that go on top of a developer, something like a product manager or a project manager, designer, a backend engineer, or DevOps. All of these words that you hear when you build out a full tech team, an agency typically has fractional roles that are available to you. So you can kind of plug in and plug out when you need certain specialties for your business. In order to evaluate where you feel like you need to invest first, it's typically good to understand, what do you need from this tech team? Do you have a strong product background so you can really communicate well with a developer directly? Do you have a buddy who you grew up with who can be your CTO, who you really trust and admire? Or do you need someone who you can really talk to about potential ideas, have them iterate on and execute on, and then kind of push back to you? Like, what are the things that you need? The best way that we found to really evaluate whether or not a person is a good fit as a technical partner is to understand if you can actually communicate well. That has very little to do with technical outputs or feasibility or anything along those lines. But if you understand what they're saying, if they answer your questions well, if you feel understood and valued in the conversation, if you feel like they learned something from you, that's usually a pretty good indicator that it would be a good technical partnership for you. Even if their skills are slightly below what you expected, or even if your business idea is slightly below what they expected, right? It's a good opportunity for you to figure out how to make each other mutually better, which is the best kind of technical partnership.